Good evening, everybody. Hi, and I'm so excited here to be live here, and we will very soon be joined by Srishti, who is part of CoVersity and who is based in Chennai. She's 14 years old, and one of the things I'm always very excited to talk to these youngsters is, well, I don't know what is your guess. Why am I excited? I'm always excited, not because of what they are doing, not because of how they are doing, but simply because they are so inspiring. Why are they inspiring to me? Well, you can listen to this live as soon as Srishti joins in and guess for yourself. But for me, they are inspiring because they're simply so committed to themselves. That's very interesting. They're committed to themselves because they kind of they jump in totally into it, and that is the reason I get so excited and so inspired this use. So Srishti is about to join us. Ah, there she is. Hi, Srishti.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Super. Okay, so I was just telling whoever was listening, I don't know if anybody was listening, that I'm always so excited to talk to you guys. And guess what is the reason I'm so excited to talk to you guys? As in, I would say these young guys like you. Take a guess. I know I haven't told you.
We have fresh perspectives.
No, not just. I mean, you have fresh perspective. Nobody is doubting that. But there are more wonderful reasons. Okay, so I get totally inspired. That is the reason I am always very excited, and that is why I'm again excited today. So welcome. So uh, I kind of introduced you as Srishti from Chennai, who does lots of different things. So do you want to start by just sharing how have been your journey, let's say over the last whatever few years? What all have you been up to? I know you have been up to lots of things, and yeah, little share, and then we will get into more questions.
Sure. So I'm Srishti first thing, and I'm 14 years old. So over the past few years, I've got into first baking. So you can probably tell by my account's name, and then I do gymnastics and rock climbing and calisthenics. Yeah. So and writing. So I'm actually a part of the writers cohort in Aarohi. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm not able to hear you.
yeah. Yeah, your voice is kind of slightly breaking for me. Uh, anyway, anyway, let's just continue. Yeah, so the things you are into, tell us a little like a journey where you started and you've been doing what you have been wanting to do. So how has this whole journey been? Take us just little walk through this little journey.
Okay. Um, the first thing which I started off with was baking. So I first started when I was like I think 10, and then I made up a business around it. So with eggless and whole wheat products called Srishti Bakes. Yeah, I'm still running that business now, and I also pursue gymnastics. So I go for classes regularly, and I go for national and state level competitions. Um, and I also got interested in writing like during the lockdown time. So I wrote book reviews first, and then like book reviews, short stories, articles, research articles, etc. So for writing, I'm a part of Aarohi. So I got introduced to the concept of cohorts, and yeah, that's where I got to dive deep into my writing, explore many other aspects, and like generally get to know more about it, get lots of resources and mentors, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so Now there's a three big interests for your I'm saying age. You had three big interests, and almost all of them you've gone like deep into them, and that's what really inspires me. Uh, uh, so let's take one at a time, if you are okay with that. So just for the viewers, Srishti, if she's into gymnastics, she's like national level gymnastics. If she is into baking, she's like doing a business out of baking. So let's start with baking, and then we'll come to writing at the end. So when we how so you started baking. A lot of people start baking. Well, how did you kind of transition from just doing baking to converting it into a business to the extent that you have an Instagram profile and all that and everything? I mean, everything requires effort. So tell us a little about that.
I think I first started baking. Normally, I started baking for my family and then my relatives. And since I live in an apartment, whenever I used to go to birthday parties, I would not bring a gift. I would just bake something and just give it to them as a gift. And then
Hmm.
people liked it. They were like, "Why don't you start selling it for money? We feel bad taking it, not giving any money." So I was like, "Okay, why not start business?" I mean, I like baking a lot. Like I can do it all day, so why not make some money out of it? So I started, and then I learned a lot through that. I learned how to use Excel for like managing my accounts, and then tracking down like who ordered and what to pay them using Google Pay and many other things. So baking means like it's not just about mixing the ingredients and putting it in the oven. Like I learned so much more from it. I learned more about measurements, fractions. I learned how to price my products, and yeah.
And also the kind of baking you were doing, you were just not doing normal baking, you went into different ingredients and stuff like that. So how did that happen? How did you started exploring different kinds of whatever baking or ingredients or whatever?
Uh, I didn't. I okay in our house normally itself we use only like eggless and whole wheat stuff. So I've never really eaten egg before that. So that just came naturally. I've not really eaten maida a lot. And
Hmm.
yeah, I felt bored if I just kept baking cakes and cupcakes. I've never really gone to classes for baking. So yeah, I guess I just learned from online and then I just experimented a lot on my own. Like I would try making a cake and then I would be like, why not add chocolate chunks in it and stuff? Yeah.
Okay. So somebody who's into baking and chocolate, and somebody would think that that is a lot of eating, but on the same side, you are out there sweating it out day after day, hours after hours into gymnastics and all your exercise routine. So tell us how that happened, and how do you kind of push yourself, or not just push yourself, how do you enjoy doing all of that exercise and all that rigorous work that you need to reach that national level?
Uh, I don't know. I've always been active, like every time. So I guess it just happened naturally.
Mhm.
Um, I don't. I've never really like sat still and done nothing before. So I would just like I like the opportunity to get moving. So I would just keep doing and keep pushing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little more how the formal part, how you have to work with the rigor and with the deliberate practice and with the world in terms of coaches and everything. I mean, it's not an easy world out there when you get into any competitive sport, right? I mean, it's easy to say I played, I mean, I've been to the national level, but we want to hear the backstory, all the effort and how have you put in that and how, yeah, tell us a little about it.
Okay. So my schedule usually it's like on a normal day I wake up at like 4:30 and then I go to class from 5:30 to 7:30 gymnastics. And I do the rest of the stuff during the day, for example, baking or writing. And then again in the evening at 2:30 I start getting ready, and 3:30 to 5:30 I have gymnastics again. Then I come home, I eat dinner pretty early, and then I sleep. So as far as deliberate practice goes, I keep like a small set of corrections and stuff, and I just work on those during the day. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I also keep track of what I need to do and set goals and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of sit down, make these self goals, and how do you work these things out?
Sorry?
I'm saying,
Your
do you
voice?
kind of sit down, create a kind of a map for yourself that okay, this is how I'm going to practice, or this is where I want to reach, so what all I need to do. How do you kind of plan and prepare apart from the coaches and all helping you? What do you do for uh, for yourself in terms of gymnastics?
Uh, I set a goal like by the end of this month I want to do this, or like by the end of the year I want to do it, and then I break it down into smaller parts, and then I make them into small goals which I can do daily, like one goal which I can achieve by the end of class, for example, and then I slowly
Mhm.
work up.
Okay. Okay. And just to quickly understand who all helps you in all of this. I mean, this is a lot of things. There is in baking, not just the baking, the whole business part of baking. In gymnastic, it's not just the putting in effort, but also all the preparation that goes into. So, who all has been with you in this journey?
Um, my mom, obviously, and my
Mm-hmm.
dad, and then like a lot of my friends in Aarohi. So because we all are working towards the same thing, so it's really easy for all of us to talk to each other,
Mm-hmm.
discuss about our challenge, and see what help we can give each other. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sources. So like everybody has helped a lot actually. So for example, people in my apartment,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they find something, they give it. So like there's this huge community which helps,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the community helps a lot. I have got a lot of tips there from lots of mentors about deliberate practice. Actually, I got to know about deliberate practice from Aarohi only, so that's been a huge. Yeah, and my coaches obviously. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, superb. So we have little talked about your passion for baking. We talked about your passion about gymnastics, and recently you've started climbing. Let's talk about writing. How has that been? Where did that start? You said it started during the lockdown, but how has that evolved? And yeah, tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I first started writing book reviews during the
Mhm.
lockdown because I read too many books, and then I wanted to tell somebody about it, but then all my friends were like, "No, you're boring us. Bye." So I was like, "Okay, why not write about it?" So I started writing, and then a lot of people liked it. So I
Mhm.
started a blog about it, and then yeah, and then I read those stories and I thought, why not write a story myself? So I wrote about it, and then I could really do it because reading improved my vocabulary so much.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, reading improved my vocabulary, and I could like, take ideas and pieces from the stories that I've read and incorporate them into my writing, like sentence structure and stuff. So in a way, reading has really helped me in writing.
Mhm.
And as I went on, I started reading books just to analyze them. So like not just for reading the plot, but like also grammar and all.
Mhm.
And then the writers cohort came. So me and two other people were there. So we started analyzing stuff together. We found resources that might help each other. So we were not all in the same types of writing. So, for example, one person was writing about articles,
Mhm.
and then another person was, writing short stories, and another person was writing for a magazine. So we all found different resources that helped, and we held daily meetings where we would analyze books and, yeah, just generally be helping us become better writers.
And I heard you are also working on what a novel or a collection of short stories. So what's you're currently doing in writing?
Currently, I've actually not done it for like a few days, but then recently I was doing an article. I published it on my blog. So
Hmm.
yeah, I started on a novel, but then I'm breaking it down a bit right now.
Because you've been busy with the gymnastics part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that. I mean, to me, what as I keep saying, what is so inspiring is you have interest and you're like you have deep dive in all the interest that you seem to have, and that is so amazing. So just taking a step back and thinking about, okay, I've deep dived in baking, I've deep dived in writing, I've deep dived in gymnastics. So what do you think? What has all of that done to you as Srishti?
Uh, I can't encompass all of it, but then I guess it's taught me a lot of skills which I wouldn't learn by only pursuing one thing.
Hmm.
For example, primarily it's taught me time management, like a lot.
Okay.
I mean, pursuing so many things at once, you really need to know where to spend your time and not to waste it.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
it's taught me like what else has it's taught me a lot of good characteristics like how to talk to people, how to connect with people, how to network. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's also what do I say? Some things in one field comes into another field. It's not like okay, this gymnastics is separate, this baking is separate. So, for
Mhm.
example, when I read about baking, I got an idea. Maybe why not make nutritious like baked goods for athletes? So it all
Right.
connects together. It's not like one thing is here and one thing is there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so let's say going forward, I'm just trying to imagine. Let's say 5 years later. I'm not even talking about tomorrow. I'm saying 5 years later, Srishti is now, let's say, not interested in these three, something else. Um, what do you think? Are you kind of ready for any challenge in life? Not challenge, self, or rather any passion in life. Let's assume something else springs up in Shrishti's life. What do you think? How do you see your this journey of kind of growing by doing actually? Because all
You
these
think
three have been action filled areas, right?
I think I would be able to take up any other challenge because I've learned so many things in all of these, and yeah, I don't think I'll face like any major hindrance. For example, if I take up another field in fitness, I
Hmm.
have my gymnastic abilities and rock climbing to help me. If I take up something like other than writing, maybe like speeches, like a public speaker or something, I also have
Mhm.
things which can help me from other fields. So I think I would be pretty prepared.
Okay. And do you ever feel that, oh, I've taken too many things, or are you just letting things come as they come and enjoying it? How do you see um, last few years, meaning let's say last few years in that way? Meaning at
I didn't
14, you
understand.
have done so many things. So how do you see that?
I don't understand. I'm sorry. Your voice
No
is
problem.
breaking.
Oh, okay, okay. Let me kind of little rephrase. I'm saying you have. How do you see that? Have you? There's so many things. So in terms of enjoying them, you feel you have kind of full action-packed, enjoyed years. I'm just trying to say that. Hey, I'm trying to connect to people who think, I have many interests. What do I do? So I
Yeah.
often end up saying, oh, go ahead and enjoy all of them. Why not? So in that sense, I'm asking you, how have you enjoyed? How do you look back at your immediate past and say, wow, I've done these. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
majorly it's very interesting. It's obviously it's very fun because I'm doing what I love.
Mm,
But like to be honest, it's not always like that. It's like some days I might be like, okay, this is too overwhelming for me.
mm,
But like it's not like I'm ready to let go of any interest, however. So yeah, I always emphasize, time management and other things. You don't need to let go of an interest. You just need to find ways to manage it
mm,
and have
mm.
fun while doing so. So I would say it's been pretty fun so far.
And have you already started thinking about becoming a professional, or you are saying, I don't know, let it happen, let me just flow? Where are you? You are, as I said, at this stage of your life, you're 14, you have done this. How do you look at your immediate future?
One second, I'm sorry. There's some
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Could you get
Uh,
my question?
yeah, I got your question. So
Okay.
I would say I've started thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've started thinking professionally because I'm 14 and I feel like I want to do this more professionally. I don't want to be stuck at the same level because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I've explored enough and I know what I want to do in whatever field I'm passionate in. So yeah, I've started thinking about the future. I've started like researching courses or like stuff which can help me become a professional, get my necessary qualifications and stuff. Yeah. So I think I'm not, I won't say I'm done exploring because you can't be done exploring, but then I would say that I'm ready to go to like the next thing, like becoming a
Okay.
professional.
Okay. So somebody has a related question in the chat. The question is, does it bother you that you don't have one particular passion to pursue as a profession? That's the question in the chat.
No, it doesn't bother me. Because like if you have one passion, you know how happy you are when you pursue it. So I mean, it'll only make you happier when you have two or three passions. So yeah.
I think that's a big message to a lot of people because a lot of people think, oh, I don't know which one. And I keep telling people, oh, this is the age to not know which one and enjoy many. Right? So, what would you like to say about that? Did you
Sorry?
get me?
No.
No, okay, I'll repeat that. I'm saying that was a beautiful thought because a lot of youth at your age and at 14, 15, 16, you know, they say, oh, I don't know which passion of mine. I have many passions or many interests. They may not use the word passion. They may use the word interest. And they say that, they're worried that they don't have one. While what you are saying means that, or whatever translates to that they can just go ahead and enjoy whatever interest they have. So
Yeah.
yeah, you want to say anything about that to the world, saying what do you
I would
think?
just say, enjoy whatever you're doing. Like, don't stress yourself too much thinking, oh my gosh, I have to focus on one thing. Because
Hmm.
naturally, as you keep pursuing things, you'll see what's your priority. You'll see what you want to pursue. And it's not like, it's not wrong if you want to pursue two or three things also. Because, like, it's totally possible. It's not like you have to only do this or only do that because some things when you do it, it helps you in other aspects of your life too. So if you just learn the proper management skills, you can do anything.
Okay, so I have one more question which a lot of people ask me, and the question they ask me is, "Hey, how do you motivate, children or youth, and how do you get them to do things?" And I almost look blank all the time when people ask me, and this question is very, very common, believe me. And why I look blank is because I start thinking of people like you, and I say, "Are you? Where is the need to motivate or?" So I'm asking you the other way around is what gets you to be so motivated, so committed, so industrious about the effort that you need to put in? What's
Uh,
the world wants to know what's the magic. I don't need to know. I've seen you all, but the world wants to know what's the magic. And do you really need any motivation whatsoever?
I mean, there are certain things in my life which I don't feel motivated at all doing.
Hmm.
For example, like Doom, for example, but because I don't enjoy it. But then, like when you enjoy something, why would you stop wanting to do it? I mean, if you could eat ice cream all day, why would you? Who would need to motivate you to eat? It's the same way. I think it's the way it works.
Right, right. Yeah, that's to me, that's why I keep saying you guys are so inspiring because I see no need to motivate, incentivize, do anything with you guys. You guys are like out there doing real stuff and learning from doing. So last one thought that a lot of your learning has come by doing. Like you did baking and then the business happened, and then you did business. You did the business and then the learning came. It's the same way with writing. You started writing and then the learning came. Uh, and the same way, in a way, with gymnastics, you started doing it and as you went along. So a lot of emphasis in your life has been on doing work and then the learning happening automatically. So I just want to hear what are your thoughts about doing stuff and in that whole process learning rather than worrying about learning, more focusing on doing part.
I think that doing is like the most organic way of learning because you learn from your own mistakes, you learn from your success also,
Hmm.
and while you learn, you watch other people and do. So if you are focused on learning at first by not doing, then you focus on the outcome. You fail, and then you don't see why you fail. You just try again. So that can also work, but that's like a much more harder and it'll be more unpleasant basically because yeah, that's what I feel. Because when you do, you enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's telling you, okay, this is what's gonna happen. If you do this, this is gonna happen. And if you don't get the result you're looking for, then you'll feel sad. But when you're doing, you don't look for any result. You just like see, okay, I'm doing this, what's happening? Is what's happening good for me or bad for me? What do I need to change the outcome?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, learning or doing for me, I find it more enjoyable.
Okay, superb. So last question, promise. Although I can keep going on and on, but let's end with this last question. So for the world, the concept of coversity is very simple, and in some way, Srishti epitomizes that choose what you like doing, deep dive by doing work in it, and yeah, and do it with people so that you can get support and all that. And yeah, and that's how you kind of grow and learn it to it. So my question to you is, when I say this concept to a lot of people, almost everybody says that's an amazing concept because I'm working on my own interest and doing real stuff. And then they say a but, and then they say that we are scared. What if we don't succeed? What if we don't reach where we think we want to reach? So there is a kind of a, let's call it the fear in people's mind. How would you respond to that? Somebody who has been there, you've been doing this. So how would you respond to that? Where do you operate from? And promise
Mm,
that's the last question.
okay. Um, 1 second, I need to think.
Sure, sure. It's not an easy one in the sense, yeah, I mean, it's a thought process which so many people go through. What if I don't succeed? What if this doesn't happen? So they're not very sure of diving into their interests. They withhold themselves. So what would you say to them? Because you have not been withholding, you have been full on.
I think you need to first define what success means to you. Whether
Mm-hmm.
success is about the outcome or by enjoying what you do. So you need to first define your way of success. For example, 1% success could be like becoming a billionaire, living like in a multi-floor house or something. And another
Sure.
person's idea of success could be maybe just wandering around and teaching people what you love. So people's idea of success is very different. You can't just generalize it in one term.
Hmm.
But as soon as you define your term of success, you work backwards from it, you break it down into smaller goals, and then you work towards it. Because, like, if you for example, if you know where you want to be, you can definitely get to it because you are passionate about what you're doing. It's not like anybody's making you sit down and they're like, okay, you have to do this. You're the one who's setting the goal for yourself. So
Hmm. Hmm.
you have to set a goal, you have to set an idea of success which you find good. You should not set your idea of success based on other people's ideas. For example, your friends could tell you,
Hmm.
you know what, become a billionaire, then only you're going to be successful in life. But you should decide your own idea of success, and if you decide that, then you'll be able to achieve it.
So I'm understanding. So then if I come from that kind of clarity, then I would not have these fears and then I can kind of dedicatedly work on what I want to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing that you have that clarity. Wow, winning. It's it's awesome. It's awesome to hear this from you that at this stage of life you have that kind of clarity, and that clarity is helping you to do things what you like doing. And I think that's the beauty of coversity, which is inviting every youth to listen to what they believe in and do that, rather than by any other measure of the whole world. So it's been super, and thank you, Srishti, for being with us, inviting more people who would like to, especially youth 14 to 21, to explore this concept of coversity, and to understand if they would like to, like Srishti, you would like to bring some more clarity into you, and also jump and do things that you really like doing. Yeah, just like how I would say Srishti is inspiring for me. So thank you, Srishti. And I'm sure some people out there, some youth out there will be also inspired, just like this youth is inspired listening to you. And yeah, and we will have more people embarking on the journey of their passion. So thank you. And just say one word as a byword, and then we'll close. What is your one word for the world? Let's say.
Goal setting.
Oh, goal setting. Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
And bye bye and good night. Bye bye. Thank you.